Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this Community Colleges online webinar titled Get Connected, an international network for community college student services and student affairs professionals. My name is Jake Frazier, and I am an Assistant Director of Educational Programs at NASPA. We're pleased to have a couple folks from our Community Colleges Division Board with us today to tell you a little bit more about what NASPA is, who the CCD is, and kind of how you can go ahead and get involved. So I'm pleased to introduce two of our additional speakers for today's panel. I'll let each of them introduce themselves, and we'll start with Dr. Daryl Foster.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daryl Foster, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Vice President of Student Services at Moreno Valley College, which is located in Southern California. It's a part of the Riverside Community College District. And of course, I have the pleasure of serving as the Region 6 representative for the Community College Division.
And hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Kimberly Lowry. I have the pleasure of serving as the Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs and Student Success at Eastfield College in Mesquite, Texas. Eastfield College is one of 7 colleges within the Dallas County Community College District. In addition to my role at Eastfield, I also have the pleasure of serving as the Region Representative Coordinator for the Community College Division through NASPA.
Great. So just to kind of go over today's agenda, we'll be talking a little bit about an overview of NASPA, so who we are, what we represent. We'll provide an introduction to the Community Colleges Division as a whole, talk a little bit about the benefits of membership, share some upcoming NASPA and Community Colleges Division events, and then we'll talk about some ways that you can join us and get involved. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Daryl to talk about NASPA.
Great, thank you, Jake. So what is NASPA? NASPA certainly is the leading association for the advancement, health, and sustainability of our student affairs profession. Historically, NASPA stands for the National Association of Student Personnel Administrators, but we've updated our name of the association, and so it's referred to NASPA, which is the Student Affairs Administrators in Higher Education, and so that's kind of how we use it as our tagline. Personally, I'll just share with you, I've been a member of NASPA for, gosh, almost 18 years since I've been a graduate student, and oftentimes during the course of my career, I've oftentimes had to support my own professional development or involvement or membership or attendance, at professional development events through NASPA, but certainly it's been worthwhile. I've been involved regionally, starting with helping to plan local drive-in workshops and being a part of conference planning committees, and now serving on regional advisory boards and national boards. And of course, I've attended many regional and national conferences along the way. And the one thing that I'll just say in terms of my own perspective of being involved with NASPA, it's really been, for me, the benefit has been about the networking, the mentoring, the professional connections, and the personal connections and friendships that I've made through this association. It's also helped reminded me that I'm a part of a larger profession outside of my office and outside of the work that I do on my institution. It's nice to know that I'm connected with other professionals through a professional organization that really is aligned with my values and provides that support for me as a professional. And so, it's certainly meaningful, and it's been nice being engaged professionally. And so that's, for me, what NASPA has offered to me. And I'll talk a little bit more about what NASPA does in terms of who we serve. So basically, in terms of who we serve, the organization really provides a full range of support for professionals through programs, experiences, and services. It really helps to support our learning professionally, but also our institutional learning to help improve the work that we do. NASPA has been around for a long time. It was established in 1918 and founded in 1919. And it's a large organization. It's comprised of over 15,000 members in all 50 states. And we're also international, 25 countries, and 8 U.S. territories as well. Really the mission and the vision of NASPA is really to be the leading voice for our profession in student affairs. I think a big part of it is really about advocacy and having a strong voice, especially as it relates to a lot of the current topics and relevant topics that are happening not only on our campuses but also socially. I think the thing that I know about NASPA is that obviously it's student-centered, and there's been many times where I've heard things come from the national office that makes me proud to be a part of the organization and what it stands for, because it is in line with our values, and it really is about keeping students at the forefront, not only on our campuses but even as an organization and the work that NASPA does. And in terms of values, there are some very specific guiding principles that NASPA adheres to, and that includes integrity and being committed to high moral principles. And I think a lot of the decisions that are made really are based on being authentic and just and ethical, and the responsibility of the organization in regards to that. Innovation is a big part of what NASPA is about, and constantly seeking improvement, and trying to find new ways and approaches to support our students on our campuses and support each other as professionals. NASPA is very inclusive, and there's many ways in which that's evident and demonstrated through the organization, seeking ways to ensure that we provide access, that there's a strong voice, and even in the work that I do in terms of boards and committees, that is very evident in terms of making sure that we're mindful about who's at the table, who's not at the table, who needs to be at the table in terms of the conversations and the decisions and the voices that are heard as part of the organization. And lastly, I think research and scholarship is a big part of what we do as a profession, and certainly NASPA is committed to that in many ways as well. So I'm proud to represent Region 6. Certainly in terms of NASPA, there are many different communities. I think there are 7 different regions that is served through NASPA. And so Region 6 specifically targets Northern California and Southern California, Arizona, Hawaii, and then internationally, Australia, Guam, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, and China. And so it's a very large region here in Region 6.
And I am going to talk today about the Community College Division. So thank you, Daryl, for that great introduction about NASPA. I'm excited to be able to share a little bit more about what the Community College Division is, what the goals are, and how it is a benefit to join this division. So the Community College Division really seeks to provide a space for community college professionals to connect with one another while providing scholarship, advocacy, and engagement. We provide a venue for discussion, research, and the distribution of information about community colleges. Like Daryl, NASPA has been my professional home for over a decade, and I've been involved with many different initiatives and programs, from being a must as an undergrad to being on a regional board. But for me personally, the Community College Division is my community. I look so forward to being amongst other community college professionals, whether that's at the annual conference, whether that's through blog posts and newsletters, or through regional conferences and symposiums, and really appreciate what this space has created for community college professionals across our country. A little bit about the vision for this division. The division has a board, and that board is made up of different representatives who we'll talk a little bit about, but the board really works to support the goals of NASPA through the development of the strategic directions and priorities, by promoting and encouraging program proposals, and by infusing the community college perspective into all NASPA programs, publications, workshops, conferences, regional programs, and publications. And this is huge for us, right? So for those of you that have had a chance to attend an annual conference or a regional conference or a symposium, or even have looked at some of the articles that NASPA has produced, hopefully you have seen that there is a community college lens being considered. So for a community college professional, this is so important because we can stay connected to national trends, but also make sure that it's relevant to and applicable to the work that we do every day at our campuses. This is a picture of the Community College Division Board at our last board summit. And this picture speaks so many volumes on different levels. What you see represented is our board director, Dr. Quincy Martin, in addition to various people that represent all of those regions that you just saw, as well as senior leadership with our board chair and other different positions. And I want to share with you some of the goals that our division has, as well as what the outcomes of this summit was for us. So at the Community College Division right now, we have 4 main goals. And those goals are to elevate the brand, to create visibility and a profile for our members, member engagement, which is to create opportunities for our members to be involved and stay involved. We want to contribute to discussions on key national issues for community colleges. And overall, we want to increase the community college membership. So these are the 4 goals that we have focused on. And every time we meet, every time we talk, every time we do anything, we remind ourselves of these goals and making sure that we are, in fact, contributing to the knowledge and scholarship and advocating for those of us that work at community colleges. We spent this 2 days at this summit at the NASPA office where this picture was taken, really focusing on our roles and how we can achieve those goals, both in short-term ways and long-term ways. And everybody you see here is 100% dedicated and committed to, again, the professional development opportunity that NASPA provides, but more importantly, this community and this space that represents the Community College Division. And with all of that, the CCD continues to create a welcoming environment for community colleges, encourage increased responsiveness to community college professionals, provide community college-focused professional development opportunities, represent community colleges and their professionals, and promote communication and collaboration within and amongst NASPA regions. I mean, I can't say enough that with NASPA being my professional home, you know, whether it's mentors or good friends and colleagues that I always meet with and talk to, but this division specifically has given me access to colleagues across the country that are dealing with the exact same issues that I'm dealing with on a normal basis. So we're really trying to make sure that we are listening to what's happening in our regions and our members. We're bringing in key national issues and how it impacts our work and taking that to NASPA to advocate and support us, but more importantly that we support each other through the work that we have to do daily to support our students and our communities.
Great, and I have the privilege of talking a little bit about what it means to be not only a member of NASPA, but also a member of the Community Colleges Division. And so thinking about some of the work that the CCD does, we have 4 main initiatives that we've developed to kind of provide increased professional development for our community college members, knowing that oftentimes at 2-year or trade schools, funding can sometimes be an issue. And so just kind of providing a little bit of information about each of these. The NCC Online series is a webinar series similar to what we're doing today. We do 1 a quarter, so that's 1 maybe every couple of months. And they each focus on kind of critical issues to community colleges. The next one that we're going to be doing is actually going to be on February 16th, focused on increasing mental health concerns with decreasing resources. And so thinking about how do we meet the needs of our students while having limited resources either financially or in terms of staff support. The Community Colleges Symposium Series is a day-long drive-in conference that we host around the country, various areas, and the goal for this is really to provide new and mid-level community college professionals an opportunity to come together with one another, learn and engage and network in an area close to home. And so we try to do these really in as many areas as possible, and so we really rely on some of our campus hosts to really host us and put on the event on their campus. And so most recently we were at Mount San Antonio College in Walnut, California, so we were in your region. And so if you're interested or you think that you might want to have a symposium series on your own campus, wherever that may be, please certainly send us an email, as we are always looking for folks to do that. The next one is the Community Colleges Institute, which is a pre-conference workshop or institute that takes place the day and a half prior to the NASPA annual conference. This year will be the first year that we're actually going to offer concurrent sessions presented by our members. And so what's great about this opportunity is that it is just a day and a half meant entirely for community college professionals. So whereas I think what Kim was mentioning before, you might go to the annual conference and interact with maybe one or two community college folks, this will be 2 days of just working with folks who are experiencing the same challenges, celebrating the same successes as you may be. And then finally, the Latino Task Force is kind of our way of recognizing the growing need for Latino student affairs professionals and support for our Latinx students. And so in October 2015, the LTF was actually selected as one of 150 public and private sector organizations for the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence. And so this is another great initiative that we are putting out to try to increase support for our diverse students. Other benefits of becoming a member of NASPA is that you have a chance to join any number of knowledge communities which represent a variety of interest areas or functional areas. And if you're interested in learning more about those, you can certainly visit the NASPA website. And it's really just getting together a group of folks interested in kind of a common theme to kind of learn and grow from one another. You also have access to the Community College Journal Research and Practice, and so some ideas, research, and educational innovations that you have access to as part of your membership. And then there's also a commitment to recognition and kind of awarding folks for the great work that they're doing, and so the CCD has a Community College Professional Award and a Research and Scholarship Award that you would be able to receive. And then finally, grant opportunities. One of the missions of the CCD is really to kind of explore increased options for kind of grant funding or increasing access for our community college folks to attend the number of professional development opportunities we have across the country. And so that is definitely another benefit of becoming a member. And just to touch on a few of these things, so upcoming events, I'm going to leave this screen up just for a little bit so that way you can copy out some of these events for you, but we've got the Mental Health NCC Online coming up. We've got the Community College Institute, and then the NASPA Annual Conference taking place in San Antonio. And then we have 2 other NCC Online series coming up in March and June, focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then completion, graduation, and persistence. Alrighty, and now I'm going to throw it over to Daryl to talk about how you can get involved.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jake. So there's a number of ways for you to get involved in NASPA. One is to become a member. NASPA has individual memberships, and really it serves new professionals, mid-level professionals, senior professionals, faculty, undergraduate students, graduate students. So there's certainly something for everybody within the field of student affairs through NASPA. And then there's also institutional memberships as well. And if your institution is a member, then obviously the individual membership is subsidized and it's not as expensive. And so certainly I think being a part of NASPA and being a member, if you're not already, it really just taps you into a really powerful network and a great support group and some wonderful colleagues that you're able to connect with and support you in your profession in student affairs. There's also opportunities to volunteer. NASPA is really a volunteer organization and is driven really by the hard work and dedication of volunteers throughout the organization. And so there's a lot of great opportunities to be involved. There is a volunteer central location on our NASPA website, and you can find opportunities, involvement opportunities, opportunities to take on some leadership roles through Volunteer Central. It's a great way to also give back to the profession as well. There are also opportunities to present. There's regional conferences that take place every year, and of course the national conference, which will be taking place soon, as you know. And so there's opportunities to submit a call for proposal and respond to those and share ideas, best practices, any research that you've done through any graduate work that you've been involved with. It's also an opportunity to talk about, common interests, case studies. It really represents the voice of our membership, and so that's an opportunity for our members to stay connected and to share information and connect with others through our conferences. There's also an opportunity to write for the Community College Division blog. There are a number of relevant topics that are submitted and that we are constantly looking for folks to respond to or take the lead on. And so certainly through our CCD website, there's information you can find about our blogs that are constantly taking place. And then in terms of research, as Jake mentioned, there's research grants, but there's also research submissions. There are publications and journals through NASPA in which you can submit your own research through those to be for publication. And then lastly, I'll also mention that through our regional conferences and the national conference, there's also a Community College Professionals Award, and so there's an opportunity to recognize colleagues who have really made an impact on our institutions and really represent the community college membership well as a community college professional. And so that's an annual award that is also recognized through the organization.
Great, thanks, Daryl. And so that's really kind of nuts and bolts of what NASPA and the CCD is and what we do. And so I'd love to kind of open the floor for just a few moments if anybody has any specific questions on how they can get involved, maybe just anything that you might want to know about NASPA or the CCD. And I'll give it just a few moments to see if any come in, but if you think of something later, so once we get off the webinar, if you think of something in 10 or 15 minutes and you just have a burning desire to know, our contact information is listed here. We would encourage you just to feel free to reach out with any questions if you need any support or just want to learn a little bit more. Let's see, we've got a couple questions. Give me one moment. So Andy at Mount San Antonio College asks about the exploration of NUF at community college level. And so that's our NASPA undergraduate fellowship program, which is really meant for undergraduate students who might have an interest in working on a college campus in student affairs or student services. And what we do is that we identify these students, they apply to the program, and then we will pair them with a mentor currently in the field. And I think that to your question, I think that that is something that we currently want to do. We definitely have enough students at community colleges, but it's certainly an area that we're hoping to expand. And so if you on your campus are aware of any students who might have an interest in pursuing student affairs or student services as a career, I would encourage you to reach out to Jasmine Scott, who coordinates that program. And you can find her contact information on the NASPA website. And then Lorena asks about the blog. So you can actually view the blog if you just Google NASPA CCD, so Community Colleges Division. It'll show you kind of a feed of things that we've posted. And we certainly invite you to feel free to send either Daryl, Kim, or myself an email, and we can connect you with the person on our board who coordinates those blog posts. So if there aren't any other questions, I just want to say thanks again for joining us. I'm really excited to share with you, along with Daryl and Kim, a little bit more about NASPA Region 6 and the CCD. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to send us an email, but thanks so much for spending a half hour with us today.
Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.